Hi, welcome to Ciel YouTube channel. Before we start, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. Let's start the video. If you haven't watched the previous video, I'll link it in the description box, or you can click here. Tensura Volume 20. Chapter 4. The Siege of the Divine Tree. Ciel Skill Synthesis. That's when he heard a strange voice. I have heard your story. If you wish, I can change the power of the angelic system so that it cannot be affected by anything. This proposal came out of the blue from an unidentified person, which, when you think about it, is quite absurd. There was no way they could nod their heads in agreement to such a dubious proposal. Leon and Zalario looked at each other involuntarily. They looked at each other, and both of them understood that this was not the other's work. Both of them are wondering what to do. Leon knew that this was Remurer's work. It is silly to think about what kind of method he used. No wonder. Then, it would be a good idea to leave it to him. Leon made a decision. In the first place, he can easily play with the control circuits built into other people's rights, so anything is possible, I suppose. It is as if he is advertising his power as a codswallop, without even trying to hide it. Not only Leon but also other demon lords are unanimous in their opinion that Remurer is a liar. Remurer's opinion is quite misleading, but he has no reason to complain, since he is just as guilty as Ciel, in letting Ciel do as it pleases. Zalario, on the other hand, was in a state of confusion. On the surface, he was calm and maintained his appearance as a warrior. However, Zalario's inner world was not calm. How did you do that? How can you speak directly to my heart? Zalario had never experienced such a direct talk to his heart before. Leon did not, but the earnest Zalario was caught from that point on. If it had been Leon, he would have assumed that Zalario had directly hit him with the thought. However, Remurer was not present. This is an impossible phenomenon according to Zalario's experience and common sense. And that is not all. Zalario has, of course, put up a psychological barrier to prevent any kind of mental attack. Since Zalario is a mental organism to begin with, the defense of its core is ironclad. It would have been unthinkable for others to modify the ultimate skill, which is closely related to the desire of the person himself. I don't understand. Is it possible? Although it was not possible by any stretch of the imagination, the voice did not sound like it was trying to deceive them with a lie. Zalario was willing to put himself in danger in order to gain his freedom. And yet, the voice made an incomprehensible suggestion, as if it were so simple. It was so funny that he couldn't help but laugh. What is the price? What's in it for you if I accept your proposal? Zalario is not surprised that he asks this question. The voice answers. I would like to ask you for a little help. It is a very simple job, just follow my instructions and attack with all your might. And then? It is a very suspicious answer. It sounds as if Zalario has no disadvantages, which makes it all the more suspicious. But on the contrary, he found it refreshing. Alright, I will accept your proposal. Zalario responded. With that, the contract was concluded. Confirming the subject's acceptance, we will now perform skill alteration. The change is dramatic and instantaneous. From this point on, the mysterious voice, Ciel, had an own stage. Leon's power, ultimate skill Purity King, Metatron, was transformed into more powerful ultimate skill Surya. Zalario's ultimate skill Judgment King, Israful, was also changed to ultimate skill Metis by Ciel. Ciel-san informed us that they had successfully secured pawns. It seems that Leon and Zalario have agreed to cooperate with us. This is an inexplicable story. Leon is still a good thing, but Zalario is an enemy, isn't he? How did it come to that? It was very simple. The Justice King, Michael that I analyze and assesses, has an ultimate dominion that allows absolute control over the angelic skill. I just used it. There was such a foul technique, wasn't there? It's annoying when used by enemies, but so reliable when used by allies. I mean, it's so great that it's a bit of a letdown. Ciel-san interfered with Leon and Zalario through their authority and concluded a negotiation. I heard that Ciel played with their powers, and I should have praised that hobby to that extent. Thank you very much. No, I haven't praised Ciel yet. I'm rather appalled, but Ciel-san seemed to be happy, so I kept quiet. Anyway. It was a happy miscalculation that we have increased our strength. Leon and Zalario remain the same. They are pretending to be fighting and waiting for instructions from Ciel-san. I, on my part, contacted all parties concerned to be prepared for such an eventuality. I will keep close communication with Benamer to avoid even the slightest error. Benamer seems to have a role of assisting the meeting against Chahal, but he said that we need not worry about it either. Not only Sylvia-san, but also Kigali and Tyr are fighting together to hunt down the Jahal. It seems that the situation has been made possible by the fact that Benimaru, who is in the same lineage as Jahal, has been directing the strategy to exploit the weakness of Jahal. I thought that chemistry is really important, because Benimaru alone would not have won the game. I am relieved that Benimaru is in good hands, so I will keep an eye on the others. I explained the situation to Sai and told him to cooperate with Leon and Zalario when the time comes. I explained the situation to Erton, who is also connected to the telepathy net. I have also given her an outline of the plan, and I will ask Magus to convey it to him as well. It seemed that Benimaru's command alone would be sufficient, but now I felt even more secure. By the way, I was very surprised when I saw Magus for the first time. It reminded me of an armored robot like those in cartoons. It seems that Magus is not a robot that you operate, but a big armor that you wear, and it seems that you share the senses with it, but its huge body of less than 5 meters is, in my opinion, a robot. I will study this later, when I am at peace. Now that I have such an opportunity to have fun, I must make this mission a success. If we fail in this mission, Sarian will be burned to ashes. I tighten my resolve once again and continue to observe Melem. She still wears a tremendous haki and shows no sign of getting tired. I am afraid that her power is still unfathomable, but what is really frightening is that I feel her sign seems to be expanding little by little. Melem, she is growing under these circumstances. No, to be precise, she is releasing the power that she had been suppressing. I don't know if it's a matter of existence value or not, but I was sure that she was better than Michael, whom I had defeated. I shudder just to think of fighting with such a thing head on. But we have to do it. The time of the battle is near. I would think of every possible contingency and plan for it, so that I wouldn't have to worry about anything. Zalario could not hide his confusion. He does not feel what has happened to him, even though he feels it. He thought he heard a voice saying, "We are now going to perform skill alteration," but right after that, he felt as if the chains binding his core were shattered. It was only Zalario's imaginary landscape, but he certainly felt it. Zalario had remained under the control of Feldway, who had inherited the authority of the Justice King, Michael. But now, Zalario was released in an instant. The ultimate skill Judgment King, Israful, which he had acquired, was better to be thrown away than to stay under his control. I thought so, but for some reason, the power seems to remain as it is. It seems to be more convenient to use. Ultimate skill Judgment King, Israful, is like a backward compatible of Covenant King, Uriel. Although it compensates for the lack of some aspects, the direction of its authority is similar to that of the Covenant King, Uriel. In other words, it is a power specialized in spatial management. It could manage the flow of any kind of matter and wavelengths within the area it could influence. Only special exceptions such as information particles and stellar particles were excluded. In other words, Zalario could not even penetrate Leon's signature spirit attack disintegration. Of course, if they had the same amount of energy, Zalario and Leon would have been able to penetrate, but the gap between Leon and Zalario was too large. If Zalario was serious, he could even reflect Leon's disintegration. However, Leon did not make any special move of his own in this fight. This is because he hesitated to use it because he had doubts about his power. So, although there was no show, it was a fortunate event for both fighters. Zalario's power has been reborn by Ciel. Ultimate skill Covenant King, Uriel, which allows him to manipulate all materials and wavelengths in the target space at will. Although it could not manipulate information particle or star particle, it was a performance suitable for one of the strongest, as if it were specialized for combat. Zalario understood it intuitively. I can't believe it. Why? I accepted the proposal, but I didn't say I would be an ally. No, that was before that. Zalario realizes that he is a bit confused. It was inevitable. Ultimate skill is something that is usually very difficult to acquire. It was so difficult that Zalario, who has been alive for more than tens of billions of years, had finally acquired it by himself. He knew of its existence, but he thought he did not need it. Maybe that's why he couldn't get it, but still. It is a fact that it is not easy to acquire it. Is it possible, who could do such a thing? Zalario is horrified at the thought of it. Ultimate skill is a system created by the creator Valdanava to manage the world. It can be used as a substitute for the authority of an administrator, but with a more specialized and convenient power, it can be used as if it were God. Depending on the conditions, even raising the dead is not impossible. Is it possible to create such a power that can easily destroy even the providence of the world? Zalario shuddered. It was a strange story to begin with. Who in the world would do such a thing? Leon answered to Zalario, who muttered to himself. It was Rimuru. Rimuru. You mean Demon Lord Rimuru did this? Yes. You just have to understand that's the way it is. Zalario thought that was absurd. But when he saw Leon's distant look in his eyes, he understood that a lot had happened. You are disrespectful to Rimuru-sama. Sao said in a grumpy tone. He seemed to be angry that his master was mocked, but Zalario wanted to say, "Wait a minute. Your master is insane." "That's right." Zalario contradicted him, and Leon nodded his head in agreement. The two were a little uncomfortable because they had unexpectedly hit it off. "How about the power check?" Zalario asked Leon to change the subject. "Don't be fooled. I understood it by feeling," Leon answered in response. In fact, Leon had the Surya as his own. He accepted it as if it had been his power from the beginning without any sense of discomfort. Leon now can interfere with the Spiritron without any difficulty. In fact, Leon was better than Zalario in terms of simple skills level. Zalario was also an experienced fighter, but his enemy was a uniform insector, and he did not have the concept of training his skills. The same can be said of a bear, who fought the same opponents all the time, so that his techniques were optimized for his enemies. After his sword became mythical grade, he was able to easily cut even the exoskeleton of his enemies, and he could not improve his skills level. In this respect, Leon is a hero who has fought against many enemies, although the time he has lived is not comparable to ours. It is not surprising that Leon's experience is superior to that of Zalario. That is why, even though Zalario was taking it easy on him, he was able to win the game without using any of his powers against the overwhelmingly different opponents. That is why Leon said to Zalario, "You have not used your power for a long time." Zalario asked him, to which he replied with a smile. "No problem. I can deal with you now without any hesitation." Leon's attitude was as if he wanted to prove himself to Zalario, and Zalario could not help but laugh. "I'll be happy to play with you later." He dismisses the question and turns his attention to Milim, whom he can now see. He looks around at his friends waiting in the distance, and confirms that they are all ready. Benamir was a masterful man, and his lineup was superb. This way, they would be able to launch a wave attack on Milim without wasting time. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoy it.